Smiling Friends, it's over!
Michael and I are here to announce that Smiling Friends will be ending after season 3 is done.
Oh, come now. You don't want it to end already, do you? Why don't we begin again?
I've previously talked at length of my appreciation for the Smiling Friends series. I've already reviewed seasons 1 to 2, and obviously this will be my review for season 3.
You don't say!
I'm Premier. As of recording this video, I have completed all the episodes of Smiling Friends, including the final 2 episodes that were released as of April the 12th, right after Zach and Michael announced that as soon as season 3 ended, they would end the show.
Yes, and we know that's super disappointing to hear.
What's the reason?
Yes, that's it. After we finished season 3, Zach and I just both had the same feeling where we feel pretty burnt out after putting years and years into this, but also pretty accomplished. Like, we just came to this feeling where we're like, I think that could just be it after season 3, and yeah, we both felt like it was right.
So, needless to say, all of us are going to deeply miss Smiling Friends, especially, as indicated in this review, that the show ended off on a high in terms of its sheer narrative quality.
The episodes of Season 3 of Smiling Friends range from very strange to delving deep into the lore of Smiling Friends in various ways that it can. As always, the season thrives on being unpredictable as to what's going to happen from episode to episode. Yes, even with establishing the fact that it's following the same kind of episodic structure from the previous 2 seasons as to what kind of episode was going to happen and when.
Tradition!
But in this season particularly, it gets strangely existential. Particular passion project.
I mean, even from the very, very beginning of the show, we always said, oh man, how great would it be to, like, you know, really try to make the show as good as it could be and really put 110% into it, and then go out what feels like on top, what feels like leave them wanting more.
Okay, fine. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
And even with that in mind, they're delving deep into more deeper subject matter now that they've fully defined these characters.
I mean, seriously, however you define seriously. If you thought that this show was crazy beforehand, in this season in particularly, the comedy is completely unhinged. There is no holding back from the sheer amount of creative madness that season 3 of Smiling Friends brings. It might just very well be one of the most unhinged things I've seen on television. Let me give you a breakdown of some of the gags and jokes in this show, just to give you a taster of how completely unhinged this particular comedy season is. There is one joke where a particular character causes the fall of Rome by having an innocent little dance. There is another joke where a character eats something rather toxic and ends up having what I can only assume to be is an accurate depiction of a drug trip where everything is in rhythm and the animation goes ballistic. One of the funniest jokes in this season, without giving it too much away, basically involves the stereotypical phone scammer. There is another joke where Charlie and Pim go out in the wilds to hunt for a legendary creature based on a painting that Mr. Boss has in his getaway cabin, only to be later revealed that that was a picture of his colon. In the same episode, there's a completely unhinged joke where Mr. Boss and Allan Red get excited about cookies. They appear to be having some kind of bakery-themed erotica, only to later reveal that Allan was assisting Mr. Boss in cleaning up the cookie crumbs by licking said cookie crumbs off of his bare stomach. This is how crazy this season gets! I mean, I could go on by mentioning a joke where a doctor brings out a parasite only to keep it as a pet and other really crazy jokes like that, but we'd be here all day just laughing hysterically about all the jokes. So you get the idea. The comedy here is absolutely hilarious. I will say that not just this season, but throughout the previous 2 seasons, I have been hysterically laughing, like guffaw, 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 like kind of laughter. That same quality of humor, like the joke where Mr. Frog was being elected as president in the previous season, that got me hysterically laughing. And the whole Mr. Landlord episode had me hysterically laughing as well. That same quality of humor is translated brilliantly well here. This is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, up there with the likes of Allo Allo in regards to hysterical comedy.
I wish to tick to you. Tick?
He means talk.
Not only is it absolutely hilarious, but this season in particularly fully takes advantage of professional animation. I mentioned before in my previous review that the show is simultaneously professional and unprofessional at the same time. This is on purpose because not only do they have the budget to go professional whenever they want to, but they're deliberately choosing when to take in the extra effort and when to take shortcuts with animation just to make you laugh. Every frame in this series is guaranteed to make you laugh in some way or another. That's the way this show is designed. And in this season in particularly, they really put in all the effort with the animation in regards to random rotoscoping here and there.
Oh, I love Super Monkey Ball.
Dude, you like Super Monkey Ball? Him. Bro, I knew I liked you, dude. Come here, bring it in. Bring it in, brother.
Mr. Boss, that's nice.
There's some polished designs, polished looks. Yeah, the overall basic animation style is still the same, but the extra polish and extra effort can really be seen here, and it's to the show's benefit. It makes for a truly unpredictable kind of show where you don't exactly know what to expect other than you're guaranteed to have a laugh, which makes it a really enjoyable comedy show. And you know what I like about this season in particularly? There's more of a focus on, well, the actual job of the Smiling Friends, to go out to different clients and make them smile.
So what's got you down today, sir?
I can't see anything.
Have you tried just moving your hands away from your eyes?
I can see.
Which seems a bit odd because the other 2 seasons seem to deviate from that basic premise in some ways for the sake of other activities. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Those other episodes are still absolutely hilarious. It's just that Smiling Friends set up a specific kind of goal to aspire for, and season 3 sees that goal through much more often. And I still adore the core thesis, the core morale of the show. That, yeah, the world can be a cruel place, but if you're willing to improve in yourself, there's a reason to keep on living, a reason to smile, and purpose to make other lives better. Because of that overall morale, even when Charlie and Pim come across his really rough uncle, who's clearly portrayed by John DiMaggio, the show never really feels fully mean-spirited. It still has that optimistic core where you want to see our protagonists succeed in their charitable work at making other people smile, no matter how challenging some of their clients may be.
In fact, this show is so constructive, it even points out toxic positivity and its downsides.
And they certainly come across their fair set of challenges, like helping Charlie's aforementioned uncle with what's said to be the last day of his life, or helping silly Samuel to ironically be taken seriously, and other clients of that kind of caliber. Often the way they manage to resolve these problems are, of course, very funny, but at the same time can also be very heartfelt. Whoa. And I love that about this show on Adult Swim, and in this day and age, it would have been so easy to just make this whole show just completely mean-spirited, and just have this miserable character who never achieves anything, thus we never get much of a reason to root for him due to the nihilistic state of the setting of that particular show. No. You get none of that here. The core of Smiling Friends is optimistic from beginning to end, no matter how harsh some of the obstacles may be. And because of its optimistic core, you have more motivation to want your protagonist to succeed. You're not waiting for some punchline that just makes them fail by default. You're waiting for them to succeed, as well as having a laugh along the way. It's that core of self-improvement that's really driven much of the series. And yeah, not every single possible episode explicitly focuses on that. Sometimes you'll have something completely dumb, like in one of the previous episodes, Allan goes on an adventure involving a crazy landlord. Or in the first season, all Pym is doing is trying to collect wood for some party. But even then, there's this sense that all the members of the Smiling Friends organization are legitimately doing their best to contribute to their team and contribute to the clients that they're helping. That was one of my favorite gags in the show. You know, he's just so silly. He's just so silly. As he expertly just maneuvers his hand maneuvers as he's playing the jackknife game.
Just got a call from a crazy character named Silly Samuel. I forgot exactly what his problem was because he was so silly.
In this season, I can't think of a particular episode that I would say was bad. The entire season stays true to its core motif. At the same time, as the initial 8 episodes were going through the established format of the previous 2 seasons and going through the motion, some people like my friend Brooks were able to pick up this subconscious weariness that Zach and Michael were having, which they portrayed onto the screen. So by the time that Zach and Michael announced that they were going to be ending the show after season 3, that speculation was affirmed. It's not that the show ever stops being really energetic and optimistic, it's just that there's certain scenes, certain subtleties and certain other bits throughout the series where Zach and Michael portrayed their weariness with the sheer amount of effort they'd had to go through with the animation and so on and so forth. Those kind of details are likely very subtle, and if you didn't know any better, you'd think that the show would just go on for a few more seasons, but Zach and Michael stood their ground in their core approach to making the show.
Like you said, we were really, after several years of really grinding on this show, nonstop without any breaks, 24/7, we got to a point where we just felt like that's a good spot to end it. And we wouldn't want to be doing more seasons with like half-hearted, like with half, or burnt out or not feeling it. And that's not fair to us, and it's not fair to the audience to give you guys slop. That sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, he doesn't want to do this for the rest of his life. How could he?
They wanted the show to end off on a quality high and not drag the show into losing its quality like so many other shows like The Simpsons, Family Guy, and even South Park have. Yes, we're all going to miss Smiling Friends, but let's be bluntly honest. What Zach and Michael did was a very wise decision to make. Not only are they going to end their signature show on a high, but it's also going to look good in their CVs for future careers, future shows, future projects. They're not going to stop making creative shows as far as we're aware. They're just ending this particular series. It is rather sad, I know, but at the same time, I'm really happy for Zach and Michael to end the series in a state that leaves people wanting more, rather than leaving the show in a state where people just want it to end already. And when you understand that, as well as the implication that fans were able to pick up on the subtleties, I think you'll be more aware of the sense of weariness that Zach and Michael were having. I think it can be seen in episodes like the one where they wrap up the story arc of Mr. Frog, or the episode where Glep is revealed to be a crucial member of the Smiling Friends team in a very funny way. It's a sense of finality, a sense of story arcs being concluded. Even with the nature of some long-running gags being used for one last time in some particular episode, they're absolutely hilarious, and I'm so glad they brought one particular promised running gag back. More specifically, one particularly funny character right for the final scene before the credits.
Mr. Landlord?
Damn, foiled again!
And they do have one funny post-credit scene after that. But after that, Smiling Friends is over.
And people might wonder, we could give it to other people to run it, like another show, like all these other shows that run for ages, but I don't know, it just feel too weird. It's not that type of show. It's so, from Zach and I, like from the scripts, from it, like, all of it, we're so control freaky over it. So
yeah, and it wouldn't be the same show. It's just not that kind of show. It's not built like that.
The aforementioned sense of finality with the aforementioned story beats in season 3 particularly are wrapped up fairly nicely, and yeah, they're fairly basic and still fairly goofy, but at the same time, whether in comedic moments or in surprisingly dramatic moments, the story finds an excellent way at wrapping up character arcs in a rather satisfying manner, having things come full circle, if you will. And it wraps up in full circle that matches the optimistic core of the show, as well as its absolute unhinged nature at the same time. Like, we get a payoff to a promised ongoing gag with the Landlord in the last scene of Smiling Friends. We finally get an explanation as to what Glep actually contributes to the Smiling Friends team, and it's done in a surprisingly heartfelt manner. And we gain closure to this character arc with Mr. Frog. In regards to the sense of finality, that applies to the sense of reconciliation that Mr. Frog applies to himself when he starts getting depressed the moment he realizes he's conquered every country and finds out there's nothing more to conquer. So he doesn't go through with ruling the world. Instead, he gets depressed for a while, and after motivation from Charlie and Pim, he decides to reconcile with his dad in a rather surprisingly dramatic moment for a series this goofy. I mean, seriously, look at this scene. You have one of the most ridiculously designed characters with a live-action actor who's just smothered himself in green. This should not work, and yet the scene surprisingly works well on a dramatic basis. And afterwards, Mr. Frog finds peace in his life by becoming a normal frog.
In regards to the dramatic moments in Smiling Friends, especially in season 3, if they were done any lesser, it would have come across as a complete tonal whiplash. But because the premise of the series makes room for the fact that this is centered on a charity group that's trying to make other lives better, it strangely enough does give leeway for dramatic moments in a bizarre way, doesn't it? As well as Mr. Frog having to confront abandoning his family, we also get some surprisingly sincere moments in the series, which I think really makes the show so special. I mean, yeah, the show is still unashamedly goofy, but at the same time, it never degrades the sincerity of characters going through existential situations. For example, in the second to last episode, Pim goes through a bit of an existential crisis of the prospect of not having to do his job anymore, and is willing to make the whole world happy at the expense of his own happiness. Fans have been long anticipating Charlie's uncle ever since he was mentioned in the second episode of season 1, and he's a complete utter jerk, but at the same time he was wanting his own nephew to stand up for himself. Moments like these are scattered throughout the series, however bonkers and however strangely serious they can be. It's moments like these that, even though they're goofy, they're undeniably sincere. This combination kind of feels rare nowadays, doesn't it? So that's another reason to be very grateful to Zach and Michael for ending the show off on their own terms before the show lost its genuine quality over time. Yeah, I know they're open to the fact that they could come back, and thank God Adult Swim has been very supportive of Zach and Michael all the way. I mean, seriously, how often is it that major entertainment companies have a sincere respect for more independent creators to this capacity? If you ask me, if the entertainment industry keeps this kind of sincerity up, I think we're genuinely in for a brighter future. Let's hope that Zach and Michael have more fruitful projects in the future in light of all this.
I could go on about specific details, but needless to say, you get the idea by now. Smiling Friends Season 3 ended the series in a specific kind of quality where it leaves the series in a satisfying manner, rather than leaving it in a state where people just want it to end. Leave it in a state where people want more. That's the guaranteed signal of quality entertainment in regards to that kind of televised format. And you know, in retrospect, in a time where even the most highly acclaimed adult animated comedy shows like The Simpsons and South Park can be prone to losing their quality over time, it's so refreshing to have a show that made it on top in regards to adult animated comedy and left it there, instead of leaving it to rot. Now, of course, things might change in the distant future where Zach and Michael might go back to making Smiling Friends again, but that's unlikely. All we know for now is that they're leaving Smiling Friends on a quality high, rather than letting it lose its initial charm and quality over time. And you know what? As sad as it is, I'm happy that they made a wise decision. What did you think of Smiling Friends Season 3? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you think of the last 2 episodes particularly. Was there a particular gag you liked? Let me know down in the comments down below, we'll get the conversation started. Maybe get someone hired for Smiling Friends Company? In the meantime, ScotsThinker signing out.
Either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
One of the funnier jokes